This guy right here needs some attention, and I've already kind of got it torn down so we can start doing that attention. But if you haven't heard in the last couple of videos, I got a new summer ride. Well, I got a new ride. Bevo is gone. The Ram Charger has went to, I believe, South Carolina or North Carolina. I think it's North Carolina. Well, I was going to do something else with the funds that I got from Bevo, but I found an awesome deal on a 2007 Dodge Magnum SRT8, which is one of my all-time favorite cars, especially in this Tour Red color. There's only 166 of these things made, at least in 2007. So it's a pretty rare car. This thing's a little rough. It's got 182,000 miles on it, and I got a killer deal on it, because if I was looking for a collector quality vehicle, I wouldn't have bought one for the amount I paid for, and I wouldn't bought one with 182,000 miles. Anyway, kind of rambling here. I've fixed the intake manifold that was leaking, the gasket. I've put new plugs and spark plug dukes on it, and this thing runs like a top. So now it's time to get it to drive a whole lot better, and we're going to start by replacing all the suspension components minus the struts, because the struts are actually somewhat new, and it actually doesn't ride bad. There's just some clunking and the alignment is way off. So instead of just trying to get an alignment done and then finding out, oh my god, check that out, look at the tie rod on this car. Wow. Well, that's my problem on the front end. They must have rammed this thing into the ground or something. Holy cow. This is the first time I'm seeing this, guys. This is the first time I've had the wheels off, and I was going over my intro, so no BS there. Wow. That's the problem with the car. I wonder if these suspension components are, yeah, they still need to be replaced probably. I already have it all, so I might as well go through it, right? How's the rest of it look? Cracked and in need of replacement probably. Alright, well, plan is still to go ahead and replace everything, but look at that. That's my issue right there. Holy cow. That's supposed to be straight. I don't know what they did to the front end of this thing, because it's already missing a bunch of pieces. They may have bottomed it out. I made the assumption that whoever owned this car was not a car guy, and the guy I bought it from probably was not a car guy, but he bought a car guy's car, if that makes sense. Anyway, these things are a little hashed. There's a lot of movement in there, so it needs to be replaced. So anyways, sorry I got derailed there, because we found culprit of one of the reasons that alignment's all messed up. But I bought this kit off of eBay, and it's from a company called Suspension Dudes, and it has all new suspension components in it. And one of the things it has is, instead of the regular bushings, it has these poly bushings with the aluminum inserts. And you know, it wasn't a bad price for all of it. It wasn't cheap, but hey, I'm gonna give it a try. There's kind of mixed reviews online, and well, I don't know what to expect, but this car's not going to get driven every single day. You know, this is like probably a 3,500 mile a year car, maybe a little more, and well, we're not going to beat the crap out of it, at least I don't think we are. But anyway, I'm going to get busy tearing this stuff apart, and I'll show you most of the process as much as I can. But I will tell you this: there are some really, really good really well edited and produced videos on how to replace the suspension components, I can't talk, on these LX model cars, which is your 300, your Charger, and your Magnum from, you know, 05 to 2010. So I don't think I'm gonna get real in debt because those guys have done such a fantastic job that, well, why recreate the wheel? But let me show you my experience on doing it. You know, I'll kind of explain my steps as we go, but you know, we're not gonna do a crazy in-depth thing here. So anyway, let me figure out how to get these brakes off, and we'll get started. Before I get too far along here, I did go out to the store because of those videos I saw, and I grabbed a couple things. So this is an 18mm gear wrench, and this one right here is a 12mm hex, and I believe we're gonna need those when we pull the struts out, the upper control arm out, and I think one of the control arms down here. So just a little FYI that I went out and grabbed those tools. All right, here we go. We're getting started. This is an interesting concept that I've never had to deal with before, but apparently we got to punch out these little pins on the Brembo 6-piston caliper brakes to pull the pads out. Any day now. Oh, the brakes aren't too bad. The rotor's seen better days. I don't think it's turnable again, but alright, I'm hoping that is the one of the longest things that I had to do here was tie this caliper up out in the way, because it wasn't really cooperating, and I kind of needed out of my way to be able to get some stuff done. Yeah. Anyway, so now we're gonna get started. Plan is to pull this off. I've also got to pull this off first, which is, it's kind of hard to see, but this is the sway bar end link. So I'm gonna pull that off first, then pull this bar out, and then I'll show you what we're gonna do up top. Right tools for the right job. All right, 3 bolts up here. Great. All right. Beat it right here. There you go. Now it'll probably come out. Should have done that in the first place. There we go. There's the wash the brake on. Wash the brake on. Alright, straighten it up. Okay, well, I just pulled the tire rod off in the same fashion I pulled the upper control arm off. So this guy right here. And now I'm going to try to do the rest with all these other dudes. I might put it back in the upper control arm to stabilize it just a little bit. Well, I wish I had the camera running at that point in time, but I finally used my pickle fork and it worked. And yeah, these come in handy, I guess. Now, if you only use them on stuff like this when you don't care about the boots, because this boot is now trash, but came out. So now the only thing I got left on this guy is lower ball joint right here. So let me try to get this dude off, and then yeah, and then that then we got to get the upper control arm off, and then all the control arms out. All right, now more hammers. There you go. Cool. All right. Well, I'm gonna pull this arm off. Check that out. Oh yeah. So this ball joint down here, it's hard to see, but no way, no moss. Shouldn't move that easily. This thing is cooked, which I knew, so that's awesome. All right, so the rest of this is gonna be pulling out bolts here and here. This dude comes out. This one, I have to pull the sway bar mount off back here, which is a couple 13mm bolts. And then there's a 12mm hex socket. And when I pull the bolt out, I'll show you guys that holds this in. So yeah, just bolt, whoop, bolt after you pull the sway bar out. So I just went after it, guys, and everything is removed. There's nothing in there right now. Here's all the old stuff, which had so much movement and play in it, it's not even funny. Like for example, I think I was showing you the in-bar sway bar in links. Pretty bad. Where I thought I needed a 12-point hex, it actually had a bolt. So maybe there's a little something different on the 07s. I don't really know. The upper control arms bolt on both sides of this pillar. It's very difficult to get to this one on this side. I had to remove this panel. 18mm ratchet wrench came in clutch. Still not an easy job, so be careful. Take your time on that one. But here's all the good stuff we're replacing it with. So this is the front lower control arm, or forward lower control arm. This is the rearward lower control arm. Inner tie rod, outer tie rod, upper control arm, ball joint. Now, that's going to be the hard thing now, is I have to, probably hearing too much fan there, I have to get that ball joint out of there. So that's what I'm going to work on next, because that's probably going to be a bit of a booger. So let me get set up here. Alright, I rented tools from O'Reilly's. One, do the part number so you can rent it too. 67405. And it's the generic, probably open it this way, ball joint puller. But then I also rented this 67408, and I rented that because I did a little research, like I said, on the internet. And this cup right here is very beneficial because it's going to allow us to push this ball joint back in and not mess up the boot. But I need it to be able to make sure we don't mess up the boot on the new ball joint when we put it in. Man, look at that thing. That thing is cashed. Anyway, so now I'm going to work on getting everything together to pull it apart. I've got a pretty cheap pair of snap ring pliers, and I got to try to get this snap ring off, which is actually going to work. So how about them apples? Alright. Well, I was really worried about that part of it. Let me show you all the rest. This adapter has a shoulder that goes into this cup so it doesn't slip. And I know it's a little dark because of the sun outside, and I apologize, but I think you guys can get the gist of all that. Oh, buddy. The heat around it. Welcome to True Confessions with Racer X Garage. I'm Ryan, and I gotta let y'all know something. I couldn't get this press to work. It was kind of flexing and moving and marring up the thing. In fact, it's kind of stuck on there. I'll get that off. But I took the spindle up to brake check up the road. Asked the guy if he could use the press to get it out. Didn't fit in the press. So he proceeded to take a hammer and beat the ball joint out. So apparently I'm just a wuss. So at least I have a direction for next time. But let me get everything together and try to press the new one in. Alright, a little bit of grease on that guy. Alright, so this is gonna, we've got this like 2-inch sleeve that goes over the ball joint. You can see this a little bit of out here on the other end. And then we're gonna press it with this on the bottom, hoping to press it in evenly. Also, additionally, we need something on the top to be able to press it appropriately, which is what this is for. Okay, let me see what we got here. I think that's it right there. I don't know if I said it before, but I'm not a fan of all this suspension stuff. Sorry I didn't show you. I'll tell you the order that I had it in. Maybe everything fell on the ground once I took it off. Okay. This I had. This is the one with the little lip for the thing. I had that here. Boop. Then I had the 2-inch dude right here, and it went over the knuckle like that. Oh, damn it, I just lost that thing. And then I had this cup on the back here, and then pressing down on the clamp this way like that. It went in. Took a little while, but got it done. Okay, now I guess it's time for reassembly, at least this side. Well, y'all, looks like I got the wrong parts. This is the rear door control arm. This is actually what bolts onto the ball joint. And let me show y'all what I got going on here. So I'm gonna zero my thing out here, and I'm gonna measure it from mounting surface to mounting surface, and we're looking at like 77 millimeters. So here is the suspension dudes ones, but this one is about 85.5 millimeters from point to point. I don't know if y'all can see that, but I tried to kind of force it in there. It's just not going to go. I'm not exactly sure what's going on here, and this definitely has a possibility of being my fault. But I'm going to zero out my mic. I'm going to measure this one on the left, which measures out to 77.5. The one on the right, visually thicker, 85.3. So maybe I just got them mixed up back and forth. I don't know. I don't have the other side apart yet. The thing is, they look identical. They've got the same part numbers. You know, I'm not exactly sure if the bushings are just different or what.
So, let me tell you what.
I would have loved to tell you I knew this was going to work. Man, suspension work, right? Jeez. So, as you guys know, there's a discrepancy. This here is too wide to fit in the control arm, and I think it's because they didn't have the these two things screw into each other, and they didn't have them very well screwed in, I guess. So I've got two bit drivers I put in my drill. There's two indentions here, and I'm somehow getting it to work by tightening it up some more. And I come over here. When I started, it was 85.5 millimeters, and now, all right, I'm down to 80. Only got a little bit more to go. I can't believe this is working. So, again, we'll do it again. One more time. Let me see if I can get this. Let's
we are going to go down.
Measure it one more time. We zero it out. Man, there you go. 77.7. And I may have just got lucky. Watch this, boys and girls. Since I tightened it, it goes right in. I wish I didn't have to do that, but at least I had the option to. And sweet. Now I don't have to wait on a part. But suspension guys probably need to do a little bit more quality assurance before that goes out. With good reason. Sometimes when you do things the second time, it goes a lot better, right? So I tore the whole driver's side of the car down. Probably an hour and a half, not bad. And then I brought the spindle over here, and I was able to get the ball joint out this time. Now I tried to use that press again, it didn't work. But before I tried to use the press, I put this thing in the vise. I beat it down with a hammer a couple times until it got kind of flush with this. Then I tried to use the press didn't work, so I said, well, I'll just continue to beat it out. So I put this is just like a chunk, like a spacer chunk that I've had, random things that I kind of keep. And I put it on there, and I beat that top side with the hammer, and it took a couple whacks, but it came out. Then I just used the press to put this dude back in. Success. We're good. We're good. So today's going a little bit better than yesterday, and let's hope it continues in that aspect. Also, you saw that I got the control arm bushing to kind of squeeze a little bit more, and now it goes in no problem, so I don't have to send that back. And all right, we're gonna reassemble this thing, and then we're gonna take it for a test drive. So pretty excited. I don't know, just sometimes stick with it. I'm talking to myself and y'all, but yeah. See y'all in a little bit. All right, cleaned up, ready to go get lunch, return some stuff at O'Reilly's, the tools, and let's see how it drives. I can already tell you, just backing out, it feels a whole lot more solid than it used to, which makes a ton of sense, right? Let's see. All right. Clock springs still making some noise. Yeah, the steering's so much more tight. Still got to pick up the power steering pump, so that'll be the next job that I do. But man, it feels great, full on. Feels fantastic. This works out. Very, very happy. Needs an alignment. Still got to get the alignment done. The camber on that wheel is not fantastic, but I don't know how you would adjust it. But I'm not a suspension guy, so when I take it to get aligned, maybe they can figure it out. I'm glad I was able to get that other control arm in for sure. But it very responsive, no unnecessary clunking or other, than regular road noise. Digging it. And all those suspension parts are probably original to the car, meaning it's got 185,000 miles on it. Alright. Plenty of power. The transmission feels really, really good. I'm excited. Very, very excited. Well, guys, I think that was some money well spent and some effort well spent. Yeah. Hey, the check engine light went off too. Yay! TMPS is not happy, and that's fine. I've got to get a couple tires. So I've got a couple more things to do. We've got to put a power steering pump on this thing, flush it, check the lines. The lines looked okay. I saw where it was literally leaking out of the seam of the power steering pump. So that is what it is. I don't think the lines are bad, but it leaks pretty good. So especially under like good throttle. So I just picked that up. That's going to be for another weekend. Going out of town here soon with my wife, so project's gonna go on back burner for a little while, and we'll pick it back up and get it all nice and cleaned up and kind of go from there. So the SRT8 is I'm super excited to have this little toy. It's gonna be a lot of fun. So I'll see you guys back at the house. Boy, do I love this car, especially now with the suspension dudes, suspension kit on the front. It's like a whole nother car, all brand new car. I'm sure this had a lot to do with the way it drove before, not to mention how worn out all the bushings were. But yeah, that tie rod seen better days. I don't know what they hit, but they hit it pretty dang good. They almost broke that thing. So now that it has good tie rods on it, lower control arms, upper control arms, it does have some pretty recent struts in it, so I'm glad I didn't have to replace those. It's got the whole 9 yards, and I'm really happy with it. It's actually a pretty good product. I wish I didn't have to fix that one control arm, but knowing that I can and how to do it is that's a pretty good little tip. You know, if you ever buy the suspension kit and you wind up getting one that's a little too big to fit in the pocket, well, at least you know you can fix it. So like I said, this is one of my all-time dream cars. When my dad was around, he loved this thing too. And this is the second Magnum I've had, and you know, it's kind of like a whole different car than the other one, especially with those big old brakes on it, and the way it handles, especially with those awesome lower control arms and bushings, and just, it's a pretty good kit. Let's see how it holds up. Some people online said that they didn't care for it, but I don't know. We'll find out. The camber has actually started to correct itself the more I drive it, so it's not so extreme anymore, so that's awesome. It's getting pretty close to where I can drive it a lot, and I'm excited for that. All right, I'm gonna stop jabbering and end it off there. If you want to see more of the Magnum, or the Nova, or the Bel Air, or the Sonoma GT, or maybe the Typhoon, hopefully pretty soon, or all the Dakotas, check out our YouTube channel. You know, see if you can click a link somewhere in here and go check that out. I do a pretty good job of organizing all our projects. You can check out our playlist. I try to catalog it all in the playlist so that you can kind of go front to back on some of these series. And if you have not, please consider subscribing. And if you have subscribed, thank you. I say it all the time. Nothing's more valuable than someone's time. So if you're taking the time out to watch these videos, we're incredibly thankful. And yeah, I'm a little brain fogged from all the work on this thing and how long it took to get done, but I'm glad it's done. And I'm gonna go enjoy the rest of my Sunday. I hope you guys have a great weekend. And until next time, you know the deal. Y'all be good.